right now here at 20, I'm probably a higher level person than what I wanted to be and that I envisioned myself being when I was like 16. That's because I understood that if I just keep on mastering this and focusing this, it would be so much greater and so much more fulfilling than focusing on almost anything else. So this is what I did when I was turning 20 earlier this year. And I was in a very meditative, grateful state, just looking at the stars in the middle of the night. And I really was capturing the moment of understanding this principle. Yes, of course I'm older than 20. Of course you are greater and older than just your physical form. But I was actually having that moment of separation, understanding my physical form right now. And I was like, so this is my physical form right now at this moment, where I feel like I was so connected to the higher power. And understanding that at that weird moment in my life where I'm entering a new phase, obviously with all the goals and everything I have, it's going to be a massive phase. I got to understand even more how we create our own self. Our soul is our soul. And yes, we can only tap into more levels of our soul and tap into more levels of the higher power, but we cannot change who that is. We can only brighten it up and embody it to the max. But our character, the person that we are, I was looking at my physique and I was like, yo, when I was 16, I would want this so much. I was thinking about the way I act, the way I look. I was thinking about the way I speak. I was thinking about how I've evolved so much in this physical form. And it's literally been all up to my design. What you can do with yourself in 1 year, in 2 years, in 3 years, and whoever you want to be in a certain period of time, you can actually create it so fast. Creating your life, creating all the massive amount of wealth and all these goals, that takes a little bit more time. But you know what you can start to build and see day in and day out is yourself, is your character. You will see it and feel it inside. Others will see it and feel it outside. And you will see it and feel it in the reaction of the life that you're going to live. Because that is something that you can control. And in controlling that and designing the person you'd want to be, you are going to make God so happy by maximizing the potential of the soul of this physical person that you have been given and that you are, that everything will just unfold on the outside to how it's supposed to be. Control who you are, become the person you want to be, and then you will also live that life that that person has. How can you create and how do you design this person? Number one is to become so fucking clear on who is the greatest version of yourself. I mean, me at 40 is going to be a much higher level person than I am now. It's automatic. I'm going to have more time to fulfill it. I'm just going to have added so much more inputs into the person I am. But I can tell you that me now at 20, I might even be higher level than what I thought I wanted to be when I would probably envision it at 16. And going back to how everybody can do that, you must become so fucking clear. What I mean by that is try to tap into a higher state right now. Whatever you can do to make you feel inspired. There's so many different things I talk about all the time. You can pray, you can meditate, you can maybe get your heart rate pumping, do some push-ups. You can do a lot of things. But I'm assuming right now you're already in a higher state because you're watching this video and you're in like a pure alpha state. Your mind is getting a bunch of ideas. So you can either pause this video right now and close your eyes, or you can do it after this video when you understand the whole thing. Grab a notebook or write in the notes app on your phone of what you're about to see. Okay, just imagine the highest level of yourself, like him just standing there with everything in the surroundings. Imagine how you're talking to people. Imagine how others talk about you, what kind of impact you have on the people around you. Imagine the skills that you have learned. Imagine the way you're dressed. Try to bring as much different accents and feelings into it. You can try to think of how it feels. You can try to think of how the air feels. Keep on doing this with so many things that I'm not even naming now. I'm just going off the cuff. And you can do it in so many different scenarios, like how you're looking at the gym, and then how you're looking when you're doing your work, and then how you're looking when you're with your family and when you're providing and doing all that. So once you do that, you're probably thinking of like your highest max self. You can do right now the same for yourself in a year. I remember the first time I really did that and I wrote it down and everything, I was like not even in self-improvement yet. I was just started meditating and I was still kind of doing bad habits and stuff. And it was still so clear to me. So I would hope it's clear enough to all you guys, but if it's not yet, then revisit it. And now get like you in like 1 to 2 years. This is like a really near future one. And you're obviously gonna have different characteristics than you later would probably have kids or something. Like you in 1 to 2 years is maybe going to be someone who wears more like a see-through black linen Fendi shirt, right? Rather than more slightly mature clothes later on. Even though I do dress a lot like myself at 50, which other people I hang out with don't, but I just have gotten so close to that reality. And once you become super clear on this person, I want you to now mold this into your unconscious mind. The more you can mold it into your unconscious mind, the more it's actually going to become who you are, and all the decisions you make, it's actually going to become who you are naturally, and it's just going to flow through and become that person. Obviously, the fastest also way you can do it is, now that you know all these things, is just become more clear on them, and then like start asking yourself more like, how can I act like this today? Like, what would this person do today? And then set up your day like that. What would this person say in this thing? And every time you can consciously choose something, add that slightly higher version of yourself. The way you can imprint this and change your identity is by understanding that your identity right now is not fully that person. But if you make your identity that person, you will become that person, and you will get what he gets, and you will live how he lives, and you will feel how he feels. And other people will see you as that person more and more. So whatever that ends up meaning for you, the type of people you attract, that ends up being the actual reality. Visualize so well. You have to really create a slide. A slide is a deep visualization. You can go back to that image that first came to you. You can keep on anchoring it to yourself, and you can keep on making it more and more clear. You can keep on understanding this is me. The key is to not have the separation. The key is to not be like, oh, this is me in a year. No, the key is to be like, this is me now. You have to really be that person. You have to embody that person. And now, even more sauce is not just to tap into that, but to really create. It's almost like when you visualize, you're like entering little scenes into the life. Like you're literally designing it in the scenes. Obviously, by closing your eyes and like entering a little scene, it's like you can end up becoming good at it and do it. That's what I do now. But starting out, if you haven't already been doing this for a while, you can literally just do it with journaling, right? So one way that I've taught a lot of people to do it, which I was actually taught by someone in real life who came up to me and helped change my life a lot by teaching up that, so I took it as a sign, was by writing like this. I'm so thankful and grateful. Now that, because, okay? So for the because part, you can add the because part. For example, it would be like, I'm so thankful and grateful now that I'm able to change people's lives better than ever because of all the work I've done on myself. You can easily do it with this thankful and grateful part, right? I'm so thankful and grateful. And then once you write that, and then it's so much easier to then visualize and enter the scene that you just wrote down. So then you can visualize yourself giving your mom this money. You can visualize yourself making this impact on this person. You could visualize this girl saying this about you. You can visualize the type of friends that you have. What are they saying? What are you doing in your work? What are the things that you're accomplishing? See it from your perspective and see it from the outside perspective. Because when you see it from the outside perspective, it gives you the third person identity, which you also embody. So it's going to give you all this. And then when you see it from the inside perspective, it's going to attach that to the life that you're living. Now, the last thing I'm going to say, obviously this video can go on for hours. I just wanted to really make a point, and you can keep on doing your own research about it. So the final action you can take to really become the person you want to be is by living the states and then understand how to tap into those states. Yeah, is this person feeling confident? Is this person feeling peaceful? Is this person feeling relaxed? Like, write all those down, and then now understand, and this is not going to come right now. Like, you're going to keep figuring this out, how you can tap into those states. Because once you start getting into flow, like, for example, if this person's feeling confident and fresh and healthy, then obviously you know exactly the habits that can make you that. And you're going to keep on figuring out what those habits are. If one of those states are confident and energized and just loving life, then find things that make you act that way, and you will start acting that way. Does that make sense? Of course it makes sense. It can go for anything. Obviously, the person is in good shape and is not fat, then start making the decisions to make yourself like that. If you've heard other people saying that you don't smell good and you want to be someone that other people think smells good, then right now you can go and then make that happen, right? These are all physical things that aren't going to take a long time to mold. And lastly, aura is not something which is going to come overnight. Aura is the highest level of your soul. Some people can have aura whatever way they look. There's so many different ways to look, or there's so many different ways to speak, so many different accents, but there's certain ways of doing it which give you aura. Everybody can have aura. I mean, I don't want to be the person to say that, but the amount of times I've like met with someone at a dinner, like whether it's a business dinner or whatever personal, and I'm meeting them at the restaurant, and like when you just walked in, like yes, like I noticed people looking at you and all this stuff, but like I just felt the aura of the room change. Like I just know like you're automatically legit. Within 5 minutes of me meeting someone actually in person, I think my Instagram is cool, of course. And of course I portray a high level of myself. But I believe and I know I have so much more aura in real life. That can only happen if you are actually that dude. That can only happen if you actually master those states. That can only happen if the subconscious is there. Because you can consciously make things happen to portray it out, for like capture it for 1 second and put it out on social media. But you have to have everything I'm talking about to actually have that aura. Whenever I speak up to people on the phone for the first time, they say that. You understand that this has really got to be developed. Take some of the pointers I have, do some more research on it, but I want you to devote your life, devote yourself. God wants you to become the highest version of yourself. Don't just be chasing those things that you want outside. Trust me, things are going to become so different and fun and amazing, and you're going to fall in love with becoming the highest version of yourself and improving yourself every single day. Now stay blessed, keep shining, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.